What's up guys, welcome back to another video. So we're reviewing game week 4 in the Premier League. Starting off at St Mary's, I predicted a 2-0 Manchester United win. They won 3-0. Ben Britton Diaz has now lost his last 11 games in a row, which is just so funny. There's no player more deserving of it. But with that being said, the first 35 minutes of the game, Southampton were amazing. They were the team on top. Dibbling especially kept getting the better of Dalot, was roasting him up and down that wing. And he forced him into making a foul in the box, and Southampton got a penalty, which Cameron Archer took, my boy. It was just horrendous. It was one of the worst penalties I've ever seen in my life. And from that moment onwards, the momentum completely switched. It was all Manchester United after that. They scored 2 goals in the next 8 minutes, awful defending from Southampton. The first goal, how are you leaving a 6'4" centre-back who was very good in the air, open like that? Ramsdale had no chance, and the second goal, Rashford, he scored a few from distance. I know I don't rate him, but you still got to close him down. Jack Stevens got himself sent off after a really bad challenge on Garnacho. It didn't look that bad on first viewing, but when I saw the replay, how high up it was and how reckless it was, the red card was the right decision. It's fair play to the referee. Xerxes should have scored at least 1 goal in this game, missed a couple good chances. But both goalkeepers did make some good saves, but that third goal as well, Harwood Bellis was about 2 miles behind his defensive partners. But what is he doing? Brighton against Ipswich, I predicted a 3-1 Brighton win. It was a 0-0 draw. Muric in the Ipswich goal was phenomenal. He did not put a foot wrong. He made multiple really good saves. And I believe that performance was actually the best out of any player in any European league this game week. Brighton sort of did what you expect them to do. They dominated the ball. They created some decent opportunities. But Ipswich defended really well. Greaves, once again, really good. But Baleba was very decent in the Brighton midfield. Minte created some good chances. Mitoma was very disappointed. I was expecting a lot more from him. He is quite overrated in my opinion. Some people talk about him as being the best left winger in the Premier League. He's not even close. It was also nice to see Evan Ferguson back for Brighton. Hopefully we'll see him explode this season. By the end of the game, Ipswich actually almost won the game. Liam Delap went on a beautiful solo run, but he hit the post. It would have been the perfect smash and grab goal. But that's now 2 games unbeaten for Ipswich. Crystal Palace against Leicester ended 2-2. I did predict a 2-1 Crystal Palace win though. And Mavididi got a start and he scored. So I'm going to say, you cannot drop him again, Cooper. Although with that being said, I also did call for Bruno United to start, and indeed he started in the 10 again and got 2 assists. Although I still do definitely think he's much better deeper, and Bruno United would do a better job in the 10. Against a good team like Palace away from home, I can sort of understand it, but I would still like to see Bruno United play there. Jamie Vardy scored yet again. What a boy, man. And Jean-Philippe Mateta scored his first 2 goals of the season as well. He is officially back. It's very unfortunate that Leicester couldn't hold on. It would have been a brilliant win. But it's still a good point. I think it's definitely one they would have taken before the game. However, this result does mean both sides are still winless. Palace should have won against Brentford. Fulham against West Ham. I did think West Ham were going to win 2-1. It's a 1-1 draw with Danny Ings scoring with virtually the last kick of the game. The lineup of West Ham selected was far too defensive. You know, the midfield consisted of Rodriguez, Edson Alvarez and Souček. And it's just like, what is he doing, man? Lopetegui signed so many good players this summer, and he's not playing anywhere near enough of them. Adama Traore went down early on. He should have had a penalty. It was quite clear in my opinion, and I'm a Fulham hater. It wasn't given somehow. Jimenez scored on his first start of the season, with yet another goal contribution coming from Emile Smith-Rowe. And Fulham were by far the better team in the first half. West Ham did nothing. They did improve significantly in the second half, but it was still pretty even. The West Ham goal was very good though. Awful defending from Fulham, completely switched off. Bowen did really well. And a good finish from Ings as well. Maybe Lennon should have done a bit better because it was actually a post. Liverpool against Nottingham Forest. I predicted a 2-1 Liverpool win. Forest won 1-0. Now I think most people predicted a comfortable Liverpool win. I actually thought they were going to labour to it. I thought it was going to be very difficult for them, and it was. I didn't expect it to be this difficult, man. It's the first time Nottingham Forest have won at Anfield since 1969. Nuno Espirito Santo, I got to applaud you, mate, because I don't rate you, and I did say you were one of the best managers in the Premier League at the start of the season, but he did a phenomenal job in this game. He didn't start off with his traditional Hudson-Odoi and Elanga on the wings. He started off with midfielders on the wings, create a very compact shape, force them to play out the sides and put crosses in. They've got Nikola Milenkovic, who was a rock at the back. He also won the ball back for the Forest goal. But he brought on the subs at exactly the right time. Hudson-Odoi and Elanga had about 30-35 minutes each. And they made a really big difference. Elanga with the assist, Hudson-Odoi with the goal. Hudson-Odoi kept bullying Connor Bradley as well when they both came on. It could have been more comfortable as well for Forest, but in the second half they were the better team. Elanga missed 2 pretty good chances. Forest did get a bit lucky in the first half with the Diaz shot that cannoned off the post that could have gone anywhere. But Forest deserved the win. They were good value for it. And I just cannot believe the amount of people that genuinely thought Forest were going to go down this season. They have a really good team. And also a big shout out to Alex Moreno on his debut, pocketing Mohamed Salah, who's been one of the best wingers in the world over the last decade. He didn't give him a sniff. It was a faultless performance from him. He could complement their system really, really well. Manchester City against Brentford, I did predict a 5-1 Man City win, and it ended up being 2-1. This prediction was a bit of hope more than anything. In the first half, Brentford were the better team for the first 25 minutes. They could have been 3-0 up. Man City started really badly. This happening at Ipswich as well. Ipswich scored early on. Brentford scored after 23 seconds. A horrible John Stones mistake led to it. But Erling Haaland right now is just inevitable, man. This guy scored another 2 goals. The second one in particular was brilliant centre-forward play. Genuinely, based on how the first half went, the fact that Brentford went in a goal down was actually really peak on them. They should have been 2 goals up. But in the second half, Man City were much better. Rodri came on, as did Josko Gvardiol. And yeah, Gvardiol in particular was really good. Erling Haaland hit the post, almost had his hat-trick. It would have been 3 hat-tricks in 3 games. He has a 45% conversion rate so far this season in the Premier League. He scored 9 goals from 20 shots. This guy used to miss so many big chances last season, yeah, and I slated him for it. So far this season, he's been faultless. Aston Villa against Everton, I did predict a 4-1 Villa win. They ended up winning 3-2, so I did technically get the amount of goals right. A lot of players that played in this game have played for both teams, which I thought was kind of weird. But it was the first returns for Onana and Timmy of Burnham. And in the first 10 minutes, Villa were brilliant. They started really, really sharply, showing a lot of intent. But Everton scored 2 goals with the first 2 shots of the game. McNeil with the first one. He then assisted Dominic Calvert-Lewin for the second one. Watkins got a brace but should have had a hat-trick. And then John Duran, oh my god, he came on off the bench and scored a screamer. It's definitely goal of the season contender. But Calvert-Lewin had some huge chances as well. When it was 2-1, he had a chance to make it 3-1 and he completely messed it up. He also hit the bar late on at 3-2, which could have got Everton a valuable point. Rodgers again, he played well but just didn't have the end product. It's the second game in a row where Everton have failed to hold on to a 2-0 lead and they've bottled it and lost 3-2. Everton are winless in their last 11 games in the Premier League against Aston Villa, which is just not good enough. Bournemouth against Chelsea, I predicted a 2-2 draw. Chelsea won 1-0, but the game was completely different. Bournemouth early on were really dangerous. Tavernier had a thunderbolt that came off the crossbar after just 3 minutes. Clivert had a big chance as well. Bournemouth then got a penalty after Evan Nilsson was fouled by Robert Sanchez, but he made up for it by saving the penalty. And Sanchez was amazing in this game. He made multiple brilliant saves. Disasi was awful, but without Robert Sanchez playing out of his skin in this game, Bournemouth could have won 5-0 on another day. They were amazing. But unfortunately for the Cherries, when you're playing against a team that have so many good players that can come off the bench and change a game, like Jadon Sancho and Christopher Nkunku, is hard. You know, you have to take your chances. Sancho was so dangerous. Nkunku's goal was brilliant as well. The way he took that is unreal. Anthony Taylor's a right mug, man. This guy kept yellow carding anyone that breathed in the same direction as him. It was just awful refereeing. Bournemouth's unbeaten streak is over. It really shouldn't have been, man. If Evan Nilsson just had scored that penalty, man. North London derby up next, Tottenham Arsenal. I predicted 2-2 draw here as well. And once again, the away team won 1-0. Tottenham started the game well. First 15 minutes, they had a couple decent opportunities. Solanke bottled the first big chance of the game. Ben White made a mistake. Son gave the ball to Solanke, and he took forever to try and get a shot away. And Saliba mopped up. And after that moment, Solanke was completely anonymous. Gabriel and Saliba both just dealt with him so well. Havertz had Arsenal's first big chance with a header, brilliant save from Vicario. And then Martinelli had a chance as well, which you really needed to do better with. But the refereeing in this game was really bad as well. Like, Arsenal could have had a penalty after a handball from Romero. They also could have had Timber sent off because he decided to try and fight Vicario. After altercate, like, I'm assuming Timber got a yellow card for the foul on Porro, which was it's a bit harsh because only the side of his foot connected with him. It wasn't really that bad of a challenge. But he grabbed Vicario's shirt, and for some reason Vicario gets the yellow card. Like, that makes no sense. You either yellow card on both, yellow card on neither of them, or only give Timber the yellow. And this game just epitomised Tottenham's season so far. They dominated the possession, but they created nothing with it. They couldn't penetrate Arsenal. The crossing was poor. Son was anonymous. Madison in the second half especially didn't do anything. Johnson was bad. Solanke, like I said already, didn't even know he was on the pitch after the first 15 minutes. They took off Bentancur, who was actually playing really well. Sarr came on and was dreadful. Like, I don't know what Tottenham are doing, man. Like, last season, they had a similar amount of possession, but they'd actually do stuff with it. Like they'd play really nice passes, they'd play quick 1-2s and stuff, they'd get in behind teams. And so far this season, they're playing like Southampton. They're pissing the ball at the back. You know, they're trying to just walk the ball into the net. And they don't have enough touch in the opposition area. They're not making enough key passes, not creating anywhere near enough chances for the possession they're having. For Arsenal, once again, a brilliant defensive performance. Saliba and Gabriel have been unreal. Their third clean sheet of the season. They did it without Rice and Ødegaard as well, man. For Tottenham, though, embarrassment. 3 defeats in a row at home against your big rivals. Arsenal won more matches at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which was opened about 5-6 years ago, than Tottenham have won against Arsenal at the Emirates, which was opened almost 20 years ago now. That is embarrassing. And the goals, a corner for Arsenal against Tottenham is almost like a penalty. You just know what's going to happen. And Romero's claim he was pushed. It was not much contact. He had more than enough time to react to. He just stood there. Like, it didn't happen just as the ball was about to reach his head. It happened a good 2 seconds before. He could have readjusted himself. But he let Gabriel have a free header from 4 yards out, and he's never going to miss from there because he's one of the best aerial defenders in the league. Finally, Wolverhampton Wanderers against Newcastle. I did predict a 3-1 Newcastle win. It ended 2-1. It probably should have been 3-1 though. First 25 minutes of the game, Newcastle were brilliant. Murphy had a huge chance that he should have converted very early on before Gordon almost scored a beautiful solo goal. He ran past a couple of players and hit the post, man. It was almost perfect. But then after that, Wolves started to get into the game a bit more, and their goal on the counter was brilliant, man. At half-time, Eddie Howe decided to make changes. Hanali, Willock and Barnes all came on, and all 3 of them were brilliant. Shaw scored a screamer, although he did take a big deflection, before Harvey Barnes said, alright cool, you know what, that one wasn't good enough. I'm going to show you how it's done, and just released the thunderbolt into the top corner. We saw Duran do it, Harvey Barnes then did it as well. We saw 2 goal of season contenders in 2 days. Wolves did have a couple of chances at the end, Pope made some good saves, but then right at the death, Harvey Barnes sent it through 1-on-1, and unfortunately his shot was just not good enough. But this result means Wolves are still winless, and Newcastle are still unbeaten. They've had polar opposite starts this season. Champions League is very much on for Newcastle, like I predicted. Anyway, that's what I thought of the game. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and I'll see you soon for another video.